you already had the chance to watch Leave the World Behind on Netflix, okay? Because it is based off of this book, Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. And I want to talk about some of the differences that was in the movie and the book. Number one. So in the book, George and Ruth are husband and wife. They are both black. They're in their 60s, so they're older people. And also their last name in the book is Washington and not Scott like in the movie. Why they made that difference, I'm not really sure, because it was something that was brought up by the other wife in the book, where she was like, oh, can you believe his last name is Washington? And it was like, yeah, I can believe that his last name is Washington and his first name is George, and he also is not lying. I can believe all of those things. So in the movie, though, we see that George and Ruth is his daughter. So another thing that we noticed with Ruth being his daughter and being younger is that now she has tattoos. Now, people get tattoos all the time. Did hers make any sense? Absolutely not. Her arm said like full, her shoulder said 96, so I took that to mean she was born in 96, right? Now, I personally did not like the addition of the tattoos. I understand people have them, but the story is supposed to be like inside look on how hard it is to parent and racism and classism. And adding in those tattoos made it just seem, gave it a visible reason for them to be like, oh, you can't have this house because you're black and you have tattoos and you don't fit the look. As opposed to it just being like, you can't have this house because you're black. Full stop. That's just a change where it was just like, I don't like that. I don't like that we're giving them a reason to look at the outward appearance and being like, that's why, not because you are black, but because you have tattoos and you don't look the part. I did not like that. But maybe you feel differently about that. A change that they made from the book to the movie is how direct Ruth was. Ruth was direct in the book. She was saying the things that she wanted to say, but also sometimes we were in her head and we realized she wasn't always saying all the things she wanted to say. Like, get the heck out of my house to their face. So in this movie, though, I felt like probably because Ruth was younger and she didn't care about those social norms and social niceties, she was like, yeah, I understand why you're saying this. And you need to stop. I wonder why, you don't believe this is in our house. Isn't this the pot calling the kettle black? I like that. Don't back down. This is your house. And you don't have to prove this is your house because y'all have the keys and they don't. And that's that. So I actually like that change. A change that they made that was so evident at the very, very beginning of the movie was with Amanda. How when she's like, I booked us this nice vacation, and she looks out the window and she's like, it'll be great because I hate people. And I was like, whoa, first of all, very aggressive. But in the book, she needed to be needed at work. Obviously, they took that vacation for work, and she was just like, oh, no, call me anytime. I've gone on vacation here before, so the service might go out, but call me, text me, email me, do whatever you want to do. Like, she was not the I hate person. She was probably hates the fact that she needs people as much as she needs people. And so it's not a terrible change, but I do feel like it was one of those changes, kind of like with the tattoos, giving you a reason to be even more of a jerk when George and Ruth come to the door, giving you even more of a reason to be like, see, I hate everybody. It's not just like I don't like black people. It's like, I don't like everybody people, so I don't trust you just like I wouldn't trust them. And seeing as how this is supposed to be like a look at racism, I was just like, why are we giving her an out already? So another change that they made from the book to the movie is that beach scene when Amanda and Clay take their kids to the beach, and then the oil tanker comes up onto the beach and you're like, whoa, what in the world is going on? So that never happened. In the book, they very much were like, we're gonna eat, drink, live, breathe life at this doggone cabin because we've paid for it and it's way nicer than our home. Adding in that beach scene to me kind of took away some of the spooky ooky elements of it, right? Because you go away into a cabin, these people show up, they're saying, the TV's down. You notice the TV's down. You notice your phone's not working. And you guys are the only ones that you've actually ever, really seen once you got out here. As opposed to in the movie, it's like, you just saw all these doggone people. Of course you're not scared. You just feel like you can kind of go to the next area. I actually liked that they added in that scene. I just felt like it kind of took away some of the spooky and creepy and what actually is going on here aspect of it. Another change that they made from book to movie was when GH went to their neighbor's house, the Huxleys, just to see if they knew anything that was going on. That actually never happened in the book at all, but it was a scene that I really enjoyed that they added in, even though it added on some time to the movie. Okay, so when he goes to the Huxleys and he goes in there, they're not home, he goes out into the beach, he realizes the plane has crashed, then another plane's crashed, and then that's when he realizes, guess my wife is not coming home anymore. That just never happened. Once again, it kind of takes away the what is going on here aspect. That was something that they already knew when they adapted it, that they weren't going to keep that kind of like, oh no, we're in a panic, we're in a tizzy. Obviously, even though they were in a panic and it is a tizzy, but it was, we always knew that GH knew that something was going on, as opposed to in the book where he was just kind of like, I've been studying the market and I kind of had some feelers out. You know, all you have to do is look. Another scene that they had in the movie that just absolutely was not in the book was when they decided that, hey, we're leaving right now. You know, Clay leaves and gets lost, abandons the Hispanic woman on the side of the road, comes back, sees a little piece of paper. They all just say, hey, we're backing up the car right now. We're leaving. Ruth is like, good riddance. GH is like, you sure you want to do that? And they're like, absolutely, yes. And so they get onto the road and they see that the road is all stopped up with all of those Teslas that just decided that they were going to self-drive into each other. Obviously, it was a cyber attack, so it's not like the cars decided. And then she gets out and she realizes, oh no, something's wrong. And then that other Tesla comes barreling towards him. And he's like, oh, there's somebody else coming. Like, sir, do you not realize it's also a white Tesla? Get the heck in the car. Are you not shocked that all these white Teslas are right here and there's also a white Tesla coming up to you at breakneck speed? And then the scene where she's like having to drive, you know, I enjoyed that. I was like, well, let's add a little bit of action in here. So obviously that didn't happen at all. In the book, they did want to leave, and it was after they were taking Archie to the hospital, or trying to take Archie to the hospital. They're like, hey, we'll pack all our stuff, take Archie to the hospital, get some medicine, then we're gonna go. Okay, so you know the loud noise that they hear in the movie where they're just like have their ears covered, and then it happens for a second time. So in the book, they do hear a loud noise. It's not really that high-pitched like whining noise. It's just kind of like a loud boom noise, which is, it's still crazy, right? So then in the book, when they're all in the house, it happens second, third, fourth, fifth time. So in the movie, we actually don't really understand why we're hearing that noise. At this point, we're kind of feeling like it's an attack of some kind, but what can cause a seriously high-pitched noise? You know, is the high-pitched noise supposed to be like the ear ringing after some loud boom? We don't know. We don't get the explanation. But in the book, we do get an explanation for what that is, and it is a plane, which they kind of talked about in the movie, like, you know, planes don't break the sound barrier, the Concorde doesn't fly anymore, and the daughter's like, it could be a plane, you know, that we don't know about. And in the book, yes, that is exactly what happened. It was a plane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically breaking the sound barrier that we have never heard of before. I like the explanation, because just to have a loud noise and to not really get a clear explanation was like, what's going on? Especially since this movie was giving us a clearer explanation of than what happened in the book. Because the book was kind of like, some things have happened. There's a plane. All of these animals are migrating. They know something's not right. We don't know what's going on. In the movie, we get the explanation of what's going on. GH explains to us what's going on, that it's basically that he knew somebody that was like, how do you destabilize a government? How do you destabilize a country? Well, you do these 3 things. He said you isolate them, you have synchronized chaos, and then you form a coup d'etat. That's how you topple the government from within, and it's the most cost-effective way. So I love that we actually got the explanation, because in the book it was just kind of like, we don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it out one day, maybe. Now we figured out why all the deer are white. You know, that it was just like, what are we talking about here? The last difference that was very noticeable actually comes in with Archie. So in the book, we realized that he has a tick burrow into his leg or his ankle, exactly like in the movie. But in the book, he did not know that he had gotten bitten by a tick or had a tick burrow into his skin. In the movie, he got bit, he plucked it off, and then he went on about his way. But then obviously by the end of the movie, he is feeling terrible and his teeth are falling out, which also happened in the book. They decided they're not going to take him to a hospital. They're going to go to Danny's, the contractor, the person that we see at the very beginning, who's played by Kevin Bacon. Kind of having the same way in the book where they're like, let's go to the hospital. Actually, you know what? On the way to the hospital, there's Danny. Let's go to Danny. So in the book, Danny says, I absolutely cannot help you. Same way I can give you a little bit of conversation next time you come around, but I have nothing for you. And that's when GH is like, okay, now I'm understanding what kind of person Danny is. I feel like he was different. I feel like we were closer, but he is not. And getting the inside voice from Danny as well, where he's just like, smile and wave, boy, smile and wave. You know, y'all don't work for you anymore. So in the movie, we see that Danny draws on him, but then also GH draws on Danny. And he's like, nah, you're going to give us some antibiotics because I know you have some in there. You know we can't go into town. And then eventually they do get the antibiotics and they gave him money. And he's like, I always knew that a barter system would come into play. And Clay was like, I mean, I still gave him money. So it's actually not a barter system. But it was just an interesting change because in the book, you are aware that he was bitten by a tick and he probably has Lyme disease, and that's why that's happening to him. But also, Danny's wife is sick and comes down with something as well. So you're like, maybe it was the noise that everybody thought it was. You just don't know. I just like the fact that this movie gave us like, hey, this is what we're saying it is. We're not gonna play games with your mind. And you assume that Archie will get better because he now has antibiotics, whereas opposed to the book, it was like, this boy don't have no teeth, and he'll probably never have teeth, and he's probably gonna die soon. Those are some differences that I noticed. If you have watched and read the movie and the book, let me know what you thought about the changes. What are some changes that you noticed that I didn't talk about? And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.